Hello guys and welcome back to the Traitors Australia, and today we're going to be talking about episode 4, and episode 4 comes on the back of a very shocking episode 3. Episode 3 will go down in history as probably the angriest I've ever been watching one of these traitor shows. I was fuming. I think the only thing that comes close is Amanda's exit in season 1 of the UK version. Yeah, last episode was really tough to get through purely because I now really have a vendetta against one of the traitors in the game. I think he's playing a very bad game, personally. Like, he's playing a good game, but I think he's playing it with tactics that are not appropriate for the game. It feels very much like he's bulldozing the competition and he's trying to sort of manipulate everyone. Yeah, which I know is the point of the game. This is what I mean by, like, it's really tough to decide how I should feel about this, because on one hand I'm like, well, it was a good play, and the other hand I was like, no, it was actually a very underhand, cruel way of playing the game, and it's not fun to watch in the slightest. So yeah, I really am a little bit conflicted at the moment. But yeah, there's not really much I can do about that. So guys, we are only 25 subs away from 500, which is crazy to me. I never thought in a million years that I would be able to get that many subscribers doing this kind of thing. But you guys have been amazing, so make sure you keep showing that support. Keep liking that like button, keep subscribing that subscribe button, and make sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the episode as well. Some of you guys are absolutely amazing in the comments. Some of you guys need to start chirping up in that comments. And yeah, other than that, let's get on with the video. So, last episode left us on the cliffhanger of, are the traitors going to kill a faithful, or are they going to recruit a faithful? And I think it's a very, very interesting dilemma that we've been left on. Paul was the person who was murdered in this episode. If I'm being honest, it was between Paul and, I think it was murder Paul or recruit, and they ended up murdering Paul, which I thought was absolutely fair and valid. Paul was never going to get banished around the round table. People trusted him too much. He was too much of a loose cannon. They could never convince him to their side. So I feel like it was definitely a wise choice to kill him off at this point of the game. I've got to say, they've been very strategic about who they've been taking out. They haven't really killed anyone, apart from Angelica, that's been a kind of blind side. Like, Elias went, then Payden went, and then Paul went, and they were all sort of 3 established faithfuls. So it really seems like they're going down the sort of, oh, it makes sense because we knew they were a faithful kind of route, which is a good way of playing the game. Now on to some other suspicions that I noticed at breakfast time, and I gotta say, some of them were actually really, really interesting. Sam claims that he is the best traitor that this game has ever seen. No, you're not. You're really not. Everyone seems to be under Sam's spell, apart from Luke and Annabelle. Luke and Annabelle, who were very, very much team Sam last week, seem to have, I don't know what the word is. They seem to have wised up a little bit. They've seemed to have cottoned on to the fact that Sam wasn't able to give them any reasons why it should be Ash. And then when they voted Ash out, she was a traitor. And now it's looking suspicious on Sam. And I'm really, really glad that they are both sort of tuned in and they've connected those dots, because we actually could get rid of Sam. Do I think that's going to happen? No, I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's a reason why I think it won't happen, and I will tell you guys near the end of the episode. But, it is tough to watch because they're so right in their sort of determination that it is him. Oh, it's going to be painful to watch if they can't get him out. It's going to be really, really, really painful to watch. So, they were also sussing Ian out. They think that Ash was probably the head honcho, and people like Ian might have been like reporting back to her and sort of hiding in the shadows maybe, which I think is a very, very interesting concept. I could see Sam was getting his back up because he was like, Ash wasn't the head honcho. I am. But gotta let people believe what they believe. You know what I mean? It's almost like that. It's almost like what I wanted them to do was to keep on being like, oh yeah, Ash was the one in charge. Ash was the one making the decisions. Ash was this. Ash was that. To the point where he goes like full. Is it Sterling K. Brown in Brooklyn Nine-Nine when what's his face? Jake Peralta's like, you just got lucky. You got lucky. And then the guy goes, no, I didn't actually. I thought it all through. Blah blah blah. And he's actually just dropped himself in the crime. I really want them to do that to Sam, where he goes, no, she wasn't the head honcho, I am. That would never ever happen, but it would be the best bit of TV ever if it did happen. I'd have to give that the best TV moment ever, or at least reality TV. So, moving on to the mission, everyone seems to be sussing Ian out and sort of wondering whether Ian is actually the person behind all of this. But Annabelle and Luke are definitely gunning for Sam, which I think is absolutely fascinating to watch. The mission for this episode was actually quite an interesting one. I personally really enjoyed it. I thought it was great, and it also allowed us to learn a couple more facts about our faithfuls and traitors. So they had to go into like almost like an assault course, crawl underneath some barbed wire in the mud, make it into the minefield, choose a mine that had a correct factual statement on it, and then if they uncovered it and it had a bar of gold, a bar of silver in it, then they added that to the prize fund. And if they didn't have, and if it wasn't correct and they chose the wrong minefield, it would blow smoke in their face. Like, it would literally go. So it was quite a fun and entertaining challenge, I thought. And there were some things that we knew. Like, one of the first ones that they picked was 3 people have won the shield. We know that is false because Simone's won it twice, which I thought was quite cool. Liam also wore his shield to breakfast to let everyone know, yo, I had it last night, which I thought was really cool. So yeah, they just assumed that 3 separate people had it and they got it wrong. The slow-mo shots of when the smoke exploded, oh my goodness, it was incredible. I really liked it because you just saw their reactions go. Oh, it was brilliant. So the blue team ended up losing. I think the red team won. And I gotta say, £14,000, no, 14,000 Australian dollars was won. Which I actually don't know. Hang on, let me ask Siri. Hey Siri, £7,231.28. Okay, so they won like roughly what we give away per mission. So instead of the winning team going to the armory, they were taken to a shield mission, which meant whoever won the shield would be exposed to the group. Now, this was a very entertaining mission because they had to take it in turns to shoot a flaming arrow at their fellow competitors' ships, and if it hit and the flag burned, then essentially they were out of the game, and it was the person with their flag standing at the end. Now, here is roughly how it went down. Sam took out Sarah and Luke. Liam then took out Sam, Simone, Gloria, and then it came down to Annabelle versus Liam, and Liam knocked Annabelle out. Liam was so good at this game. It was actually kind of unbelievable. But yeah, that's how it went down. Liam won the shield, and I gotta say, he doesn't need it. He doesn't need it because the traitors aren't going to get rid of him because people are suspicious of him as well as suspicious of other people. And I think the traitors would be wrong to get rid of him. So this episode was pretty much the chance for Annabelle and Luke to rally some people together and start enacting their plan against Sam. They really believe that Sam is a traitor. They don't believe because they're correct, but they genuinely do feel like he is a traitor, and I cannot wait for the downfall of Sam. I think it's going to be fantastic to watch. The only worry is I feel like people aren't going to believe them. Because the problem with this cast, there are a few smart people in the group. There is Luke. There is Annabelle. And that is all for today, because nobody else seems to be agreeing or even looking in Sam's direction. No one's even looking in Blake's direction. So, what's going on? This just feels really, really tough to watch, because like I've never been so on the faithful side. I'm normally on the traitor side until the traitors do something that really pisses me off. Like with Paul, it was when he threw Miles under the bus. That's what pissed me off. Wilf pissed me off when he threw Amanda under the bus. And it's actually always when they throw someone under the bus that really didn't deserve it. That really, really didn't deserve it. It's tough. And it's always down to greed. It's always down to greed. I would like to think that in this game, if I was a traitor, I would most definitely have my traitors' backs. Maybe. But I'd like to think I would. If I was in this game, I would think 3 brains are better than 1. And also, I would rather have 30 grand of a 90 grand prize pot rather than lose the game because I haven't worked with my traitors. Does that make sense? I would rather work together and win together than play alone and potentially lose alone. That would suck. That would really, really suck. So, yeah, anyway, moving back to the point. Hannah was asking whether they should be looking at the people that potentially pushed back against Ash, which I don't think is a very, very smart decision, because the people who are the traitors are the ones who voted for Ash. So, yeah, it's tough again. And then, unfortunately, Liam and Ian got into an argument, blaming each other as bloody traitors when they're both innocent. And it's just very, very clear that this is what the round table is going to be focusing on, because there's no other suspicions. Luke and Annabelle are keeping very, very tight-lipped about what they believe, because obviously if they mention it's the wrong person, that's their game over. Whereas they know they can trust each other, and that really, really sucks. Oh, yeah. Tough for them, because neither of them got the shield either. I really needed Luke to get the shield. I didn't find this round table to be as frustrating as I expected it to be. I was really expecting Sam and Annabelle and Luke to like war against each other if they brought it up. But Luke and Annabelle didn't bring up Sam's name at all. They dropped seeds and they scattered a few sort of seeds, I guess. I came up with the wrong analogy there. But they didn't really let Sam know that they're onto him, which I think was the smartest decision here, because it was very, very clear that the group was coming in with 2 names in mind, and one of those 2 was going home. There was no point adding a third one into the mix and letting the traitors know your plan too early. So I think the smartest decision they did was kind of keep quiet, but still scatter them seeds a little bit so people are suspicious and they can have plausible deniability when it comes to bringing it up later on, when they're like, no, I brought this up a couple of weeks ago. I just didn't name names because I didn't want them. I wanted them to be blindsided. There's very much a sentiment in the Australian version of the Traitors, and it is something that's really, really winding me up about this version of strategic voting. And the strategic voting is just, it just isn't fun to watch, because I love that the UK version, everyone kind of votes off of instinct and no one really knows how they're going to decide until they've listened at the round table. Whereas it really feels, and I don't know whether this was like it in the first series of the Australian version, but it really does feel like they are strategically trying to be like, okay, this is happening, we're all voting for this person, let's get them out. And it is just a bit odd to watch at times. I don't know if that's just me. So we are going to start with Keith. And Keith said something very, very interesting, and something that I actually didn't expect him to say. He said he thinks it would be very naive and stupid to believe that the traitors did not vote for Ash last night. He believes that at least one traitor did vote for Ash, and therefore they need to be looking at the people who voted for Ash just as much as the people who didn't vote for Ash, which I think is absolutely fair and valid. In fact, Annabelle agreed with him and said, I think, in fact, that it was a mutiny. And immediately Sam looks a little bit like, this did not go down as well as I thought it would, because like this could lead back to me. And it was very, very interesting how it was a case of Annabelle was like, yeah, mutiny. She was the head honcho. So maybe they wanted to take her out so that they could blend into the background and seem like faithfuls even more. And obviously Sam's starting to sweat. I could see it. I could see the gears turning in his mind if this turned on him. He was like, how am I going to defend myself? How am I going to defend myself? It didn't turn on him in this trial, fortunately, because I'm waiting for that to happen. And it's going to be glorious. It's going to be amazing. But unfortunately, Liam and Ian did get the bulk of the flack in this episode. Liam was asked why he didn't vote for Ash because he thinks that that's suspicious, or because that made him look suspicious. And I got to be honest, fair enough, absolutely fair and valid. But he said he voted for Ian because he felt like Ash, there was enough people on Ash to get her out, but he wanted to sort of point the finger at Ian because he feels like Ian's a traitor just as much as Ash was. And so he kind of defended himself well there. I was impressed. And then he pointed the finger at Ian and was like, I think Ian flies under the radar. And then I think it was him, or it might have been someone else. They were like, oh yeah, you fly under the radar and you might have been reporting back to Ash, because if she was head honcho, she would send out her little minions to then report back on conversations, and you could have been one of those people. And then Keith was like, yeah, you do kind of just sit there in conversations. You don't really add anything. You don't talk strategy. And I gotta be 100% honest. I completely agreed with Ian. He was like, what strategies? What strategies have you guys actually come up with that have helped us here? Because the only person who has actually come up with a strategy to get rid of a traitor was Sam. Isn't that a little bit suspicious? Guys, Ian didn't say this, by the way. This is me saying this. Isn't it a little bit suspicious that Sam is the only person that came up with a strategy to get rid of a traitor, and the one time he does get rid of a traitor, it is a traitor, and then when people were like, "Oh, why did you go for her?" "Oh, I just thought she was a traitor." Okay. Because you don't see the police going around just arresting people, and then when asked why, "Oh, I just thought they were a murderer." Yeah, whatever, Sam. You got to come up with a better excuse than that. You literally could have gaslit everyone and been like, she mentioned something about being a traitor by accident and slipped up. This is why I think it's her. You could have really gaslit her. But you just haven't come up with anything, and people are still voting with you because you've got them under your little spell. Right, enough about Sam. Calm down. I'm getting worked up over this thing. So Hannah ended up calling out Blake and being like, yo, who do you think it is, Blake? Because you're quiet. And he goes, I think it's Liam because of XYZ. So, okay. So it's going to come down to Liam versus Ian. And that's pretty much what it did do. And here are the votes. So, Blake voted for Liam. Ian voted for Liam. Annabelle voted for Ian. Luke voted for Ian. Roar voted for Liam. Sarah voted for Ian. It's really, really tough when Ian and Liam kind of rhyme together. Sam voted for Ian. Hannah voted for Liam. Liam voted for Ian. Gloria voted for Ian. Camille voted for Sarah for some unknown reason. Come on, Camille, you're meant to be a bloody undercover agent. You can't even suss out who the traitors are. Simone voted for Ian. And Keith also voted for Ian. So that is unfortunately a wrap on Ian's time on the Traitors. I gotta say, I really did like Ian, and especially in this episode, I thought he was really funny. And it's a shame that it took like his last episode for him to really sort of come to the forefront and have some screen time, because he was kind of just in the background for the last couple of episodes. But I gotta say, we're gonna miss him. Liam got lucky, if I'm being 100% honest, because I think the sort of evidence on him was a little bit stronger than just "you're quiet." And yeah, it's a bit of a shame to see him go, especially when he was faithful and the team completely got it wrong. Does this mean they're going to go for Liam next time? Oh god, they're so bad at this game. But again, it's very easy for me to say that they're bad at this game when I'm watching at home and I know who the traitors are. This is what I mean when I say we need a version of the traitors where we don't know who the traitors are and we are just working it out at the same time. Imagine how crazy these videos would be if the entire time I got out like my fucking chalkboard or my pinboard and I just had little facts connecting. That would be fascinating. I'd probably do a whole PowerPoint on it. Oh, I need to actually get a life. Sam and Blake headed back up to the Traitors Tower. They had the choice again: recruit, murder. They're looking to probably murder again. And I gotta say, the two options they came up with, I'm gonna be losing someone I like next episode. I really hate the fact that this version of the show only gives you two options as your little like, ooh, who could it be? Like the UK version gives three, so like there's a 33% chance that if your favour's in there, they're not going home. Here it's a 50% chance. The names they mentioned were Luke and Rohar. I really like Rohar. I think he's absolutely hilarious. I think he's so great. I'd want to be friends with him. He just seems like he'd be great on a night out or watching a movie or something like that. He just seems so lovely. Luke, the only reason I don't want Luke to go is because I want him and Annabelle to team up and burn Sam to the ground. But I think Luke's going home. I think Luke's being murdered. And the reason why I think Luke's being murdered is because the teaser for next episode showed Annabelle on her own going in hard and literally being like, I think it's Sam and I also think it's Blake. Annabelle, if the context is right for this like teaser next time, I think you're getting banished next episode without a doubt. But if you actually did call out Sam and Blake as the two traitors, you might be the best traitors player that we've ever had. Because, like, yeah, you voted Ash out. You believed it was Ash. But now, you've also called out the two other traitors. She knows who all the traitors are. How crazy is that? Annabelle, big queen. Big queen indeed. So, thank you guys very, very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today. It was a little bit of a less, a calmer episode, I'd say. But I feel like next episode, stuff is going to go down. Shit is going to kick off. The fan is going to be coming off of the ceiling and chasing after your grandma. It's gonna be crazy. So make sure you don't miss next time, which will probably be coming out tomorrow or Wednesday. I haven't decided. So, if you guys did enjoy, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Do all that YouTube stuff that you guys do so well. We're so close to 500. So close. But until then, thank you guys very, very much for watching. Keep on ranting. Bye now.